In the final segment of a OAN exclusive interview, California Rep. Devin Nunes is telling One America's John Hines that more criminal referrals are definitely coming in light of new evidence the FBI ignored information in seeking FISA court warrants.
You are, of course, the senior GOP member of the Intelligence Committee, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about some revelations here. I don't know if you call them revelations, but just in the last few days, there's been some information. There were these redacted footnotes, and now those redactions have been disclosed. And I wanted to get your take on that. What, to you, is the headline for you from this new information?
First and foremost, there's still too much that is classified. So we need to have fewer blacked out marks. That's what that means. So when you read the Horowitz report, they're the areas that are blacked out. We need less of those, and we need more declassified. This is something that Senator Grassley, Senator Johnson have been asking for a while. This all relates to what was the Clinton campaign's involvement with dirty cops from the FBI and the Department of Justice investigating the Trump campaign when there were clearly no ties to Russia and no collusion with Russia. We now know they knew about that the whole time. We've known that from the Horowitz report, but those footnotes actually make that more clear, okay? And in fact, so clear, and I think this is the part that's important to focus on, people at the FBI knew this was a hoax, that some people in the FBI actually believe that this could be Russian disinformation. And so now the question is where the hell was the investigation at that point into when FBI agents are raising legitimate concerns that this is possibly Russian disinformation? Where was the investigation done on that? That would break all protocol. Okay, we have people that were running this investigation at the highest level, the CI investigation, okay, who find out from other agents that this could be disinformation, and they just throw it away. They just ignore it. All right. Now, I want to make sure that your listeners know, because there's a lot of conflicting stories out here, the odds of this being Russian disinformation are almost nil. Okay. And I say that because they made this up. They made this whole story up. This was made up by Clinton campaign operatives that produced at first what's called a proto dossier that turned into the Steele dossiers. They inserted fake Russians, or they might be actually real Russians, but they were Russians that were unwitting. They had no idea their name was being used in this. Those were spread on to the FBI. The FBI then later interviewed him. Okay, and we know this from the Horowitz report. And those Russians, which are actually, many of them are actually Russian Americans, said, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I have no idea. I don't know Steele. I don't know any of this. And the FBI knew this for sure in January of 2017, that the Russians that were put into the Steele dossier were actually just unwitting and didn't know what the hell they were talking about. So there's so many more questions. So I think that's the key takeaway. It's not so much, don't buy the line that that this was Russian disinformation. I think what you have to buy is that this very well could have been Russian disinformation. That was the assessment of some within the FBI, and that investigation was never done. So that gets to the point here in what Durham, the U.S. attorney from Connecticut who's investigating this, where we've made several criminal referrals, he's got to figure out at what point did the dirty Clinton campaign operation it was running in parallel with the dirty cops at the FBI. At what point did that become the same operation? That's what we're really trying to figure out.
Do you anticipate additional criminal referrals based on some of these new disclosures?
I do. I want to see more. I mean, look, I've read all of this. So I've read all of these footnotes because many of them are still classified. That's why I want more to be declassified. But there will definitely be more criminal referrals because, we have to know, why was this ignored? Why did the protocol, why was the FISA court lied to when now, we've known this for a while, but now all of you know this. When there's FBI agents out there, trained FBI agents out there saying this might be Russian disinformation, and you decide just to throw that overboard, I think there's going to be more criminal referrals for sure.
Also, Mr. Atkinson, I know you were investigating him, the intelligence community IG. He's obviously now out of a job. Does your investigation continue? What is the disposition of that, do you suppose?
Well, that's an ongoing investigation that we have. I think I've said this to you before and your OAN audience, and that is that we continue to look at this as a criminal matter. and we will continue to share the fruits of those investigations with the proper authorities at the Department of Justice. So I'll just leave it at that because we have an ongoing investigation, and I think it's best I just leave it at that.
So that continues then, right?
Absolutely. It absolutely continues. We have yet to finalize or send. We've sent some concerns to Department of Justice, but we have not sent what I would consider an actual criminal referral yet, but we're working on that.
I appreciate your time and hope that you are doing well in beautiful, sunny California. The let's see, what is it you call it? The breadbasket of the universe? Is that
breadbasket of the solar system? And you can watch my podcast, the Devin Nunes podcast. And I know that I know a lot of your listeners probably do listen to it, but we update it every Friday. So for those that want to, we talk a little bit about the Valley. Last week we had on auctioneering. So we had Billy Long, a congressman from Missouri. So we talked about auctioneering. You can listen to me be trained to be an auctioneer, which I failed miserably at.
It was a very entertaining listen, though.
Well, thank you. Thanks, John.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Good to talk to you.
My pleasure.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.